Today we're talking about the next two gods in Smite. Information here is provided by Smite Data Mining, link is down below. The information that we have is kind of interesting because in one way it's still very ambiguous as to what it is, but there are some hints in what direction we might be going in that are actually not all in the data mining but partially in game as well. We'll get into that. What was also found was the bundle for HRX 2018. As you know, every year there is a bundle that accompanies the event with various skins and other things. And this year this will be a Terra, a Hui, a Ra and a Kukulkan skin. On top of that you get a recall skin, a jump stamp and a music theme. But now for the gods. There are two gods that have been data mined in the past. One of them under the title Knight and the other one under the title Wizard. And there is some speculation going on based on something that happened in the Joust map. I will also link that down below for those of you who want to look into this very deep. But essentially what happened when the Joust map was released was that initially in the teaser or the showing on the patch notes you couldn't see anything. It was just an empty rock on the side of the map. And then in the later patches there was a sword in the stone on a rock on an island to the side of the map. And then later on the sword came out of the stone and was glowing in the sky. Now the sword in the stone is probably familiar to most of you. That's the legend of King Arthur. As such, the current speculation, especially with the gods being the Knight and the Wizard, is that this could be about King Arthur and with the wizard Merlin. So King Arthur would be released 99 and Merlin would be released 100. This would like kind of tie them together, explain why they're in the same context of an event, and would also go hand in hand with the thing on the Joust map. If this is the case, if this is true, or if this is just, Hyris leading us on a little bit, or if this is for something else completely, is something we don't know yet. But I think it's solid speculation so far, especially based on the rest of the information that we have. The speculation in this case would be that both gods would be added to the Celtic pantheon, which is a relatively small one, and that at least King Arthur would also be a stance swapping god, once again going very much hand in hand with the current theme of the Celtic pantheon, which basically all has stance swapping or something similar, see Kukulkan. So the information for god 99, the Knight, or possibly King Arthur, is as follows so far. His title is a placeholder, it's the Lawgiver, which is obviously True's title already, so he's probably not going to keep that one. It's very likely that this is because he's a stance-swapping warrior as well, from what it sounds like. Again, this is just speculation based on the fact that it's called a Knight, and as such, we can see that there is a lot of overlap with True, and that is probably why he has the same title for now. He has two stances, Normal and Spartan. So it sounds like one stance is a bit more defensive and the other one is a bit more aggressive, or maybe a bit more mobile as well. And the description for that is fearlessly charge into your opponents, switching stance for each new opportunity. This doesn't really tell us what the opportunity in this context is, but it sounds like you can not just stance swap at any point just because you want to, but rather it's tied to something specific. Maybe taking damage, dealing damage, killing someone, or having an ally dying. I'd like to point out that Spartan can actually point in a very different direction as well, being the Greek pantheon. What we were told by Hyris is that the gods that are coming out, 99 and 100, are gods that are highly requested. And there's one character that is, well, not technically a god, and not technically a Spartan, but that would very well fit in this niche, and that is Kratos, because he's so popular through God of War. In God of War, Kratos is called the Ghost of Sparta, though he's not technically a Spartan by lore, but does it really matter that much? At the end of the day, he could still have a Spartan fighting stance. And again, Spartan fits much more with the Greek pantheon in that context, obviously. So I wouldn't throw that out of the window completely as well, though that would bring us to the question how it ties in with God 100, but I think it's still very much possible. Maybe the whole event with the sword is actually not for God 99 and just for 100, and 100 is Merlin, and 99 is Kratos, and that is not tied together. What we know about the abilities further is that it has 2 or 3 equip slots, but only one of them is different. And the next note says, apparently you can equip different slots as Normal and Spartan, might be working with passive or items from store. So this could be some sort of mechanic that allows you to have different items depending on what stance you're in, or maybe your items changing when you're in different stances and you're having different items. But then again, it's not really clear what those 2 or 3 equip slots stands for. We also know that he has a teleport FX, so he might have a teleport in his kit, but it could also just be that that effect is recycled for something and might not actually be in the final kit. The first ability will somehow work with the passive, and that is all that we know about it so far. But for the other abilities, there are multiple options, option A and option B, and that probably comes with the different stances having different effects. So it's very likely that the first ability is simply the stance swap or something that allows you to swap stances, and the other abilities are then abilities that change depending on stance. Maybe, on the other hand, the first ability is also just a different aura that also changes depending on your stance. Ability 2, option A, has multiple hits. It might also have a target lock. Again, not a lot of information, could just be anything with quick multiple attacks or slow multiple attacks, no range indication or anything. Might have a target lock would be interesting because it would be rather odd considering that most abilities do not have target locks in Smite, and Hi-Rez kind of takes pride in not having too many target locks unless it's on an ultimate like Neath ult. Ability 2 is a charge and also has multiple hits. This might mean that it's a very similar ability in both stances, but in one version you will charge first and the other one you won't. Then I would assume that the Spartan stance would be the one where you charge first, more of an aggressive version, whereas the other one is something you can use in a more defensive situation. Then we have ability 3, option A. Damage in a radius and range, so probably a ranged attack on an area, and the ability has different states. Strike, spin, and inactive. Strike and spin sounds a little bit like Bellona, though it might just be the other way around, because otherwise it would be spin and strike. The question really is what an inactive state for an ability would be, unless that just means this is any moment where the ability is not used. The other option for this ability, ability 3, option B, is the skill is a hit pulse, similar to Freya's 2. What's very interesting to me is that these abilities sound very different. Normally the abilities between stances sound somewhat similar, whereas this one sounds kind of like, again, Freya 2 and Bellona Bludgeon for some reason. And what that effectively means is very unclear, so there's a lot of speculation when it comes to how the kit will work at this point. We really don't know enough to figure anything deeper than that. We also don't know anything about the 4th ability yet, so I guess the ultimate is not revealed. But then we also have some information for the NPC wizard, which, again, could possibly be Merlin. First of all, he has a basic attack, passive, and abilities. Big shocker here, I don't know why that is noted. He is a wizard type. Again, this could be just indicating it's a mage and they just don't want to write mage, much like they have knight with a warrior. But then there are the points minor, major, and champion. Now, there was some thought on these NPCs possibly just being some characters that can somehow be played in an event, but at this point, the abilities for Knight especially sound too fleshed out to just be some random NPC thing. It, again, is very likely a god now. And as such, the things that we hear here, again, sound a little bit more like an NPC character, but then we also have multiple abilities afterwards. The passive is a charged buff. No information on what kind of buff this is. The first ability has a targeter and a projectile, so we only really know that it's some sort of ranged ability. The second ability is Wizard Arcane Pulse. This ability has a slow and is a deployable. Deployable is often vague in the sense of what exactly it will mean for the character, but the interesting thing is Arcane Pulse is something that I, in that sense, last heard in World of Warcraft, where it was a very spammable, damaging AoE ability, which makes me realize that we don't really have something like that in Smite just yet. We don't really have an AoE that you can consistently use for low damage, so it might just be that. For ability 3, we only know that it has a targeter, and for ability 4, there is nothing yet. So, a little bit further away, a little bit less information than even on the Knight, not much to find out here. Another thing where we have some more information once again is the arena update. The title for the arena is now Roman Arena Season 5, so nothing really changed here. We're gonna have a Roman theme again. We have some information on the Minotaur being in the arena on the Order side, with no mention of Chaos, and that there will be arena Juggernaut skins. For some reason, Hercules and Bellona. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I don't think they will take guards out of Arena to be not playable, so we'll see what that's about. But in the end, what we should keep in mind here is that Arena was supposed to have an update, and the update was supposed to come this year. So it's very, very likely that we're going to see this update with HRX as the big reveal that they're going to show with the new guard. So we have quite a lot of new information. I'm very interested to see how this will all turn out. I'd be down for both Kratos or King Arthur or even Merlin. And then there's also some speculation on the next guard being the big snake, being Jormungandr or however you pronounce it, considering that Hi-Rez Ryu said that the guard that he can't pronounce is guard 101, and we've already seen the snake in the loading screen, so that would already fit as well. We'll find out. With that, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope this was interesting and insightful. If you're new to the channel, feel free to click the sub button and maybe the bell. It really helps me out. And other than that, see you for the next one tomorrow or later. We'll see if I can make another video. DukeSloth, out.